In this video, the presenter addresses a common problem many people face when meditating or trying to concentrate: the constant stream of thoughts. Many individuals struggle with this issue, feeling overwhelmed by the non-stop flow of thoughts popping into their minds. This challenge, they say, makes meditation difficult, if not impossible. However, this video offers a fresh perspective and solution. Rather than trying to empty the mind, embrace and be aware of the thoughts. This is the heart of Buddhist meditation, specifically the practice known as Chitanupasana. The common misconception about meditation. Many people believe that meditation means completely emptying the mind, shutting down all thoughts, and achieving a state of complete mental stillness. However, as this video explains, that is a misunderstanding. Meditation is not about fighting or blocking thoughts. Instead, it's about being aware of those thoughts as they come and go. Trying to stop thoughts is, ironically, itself a thought, a new layer of mental activity that adds to the busyness of the mind. To explain this further, let's look at the natural behavior of the human mind. Our mind is not a static entity. It is dynamic, always processing, thinking, and reflecting. It is like a stream of water. If you try to dam the flow completely, pressure builds up, and eventually, the water will burst through. Similarly, trying to suppress thoughts often leads to more thoughts flooding in. The key, therefore, is to stop resisting the mind's natural tendency to think. You do not need to force the mind into silence. Instead, let the thoughts come, but practice mindfulness. Be aware of them without getting caught up in them. As you become more mindful of your thoughts, you'll find that they lose their power and begin to fade away naturally. Understanding the nature of the mind. In Buddhist teachings, the mind is likened to a curious child. Children are naturally inquisitive, exploring their surroundings, and often getting into trouble when left unattended. The mind behaves in much the same way. It latches onto thoughts, desires, and emotions, and if left unchecked, it can create chaos. But just as a child calms down when it receives attention and care, the mind also quiets down when we give it our attention. The process of paying attention to the mind's activity is known as mindfulness. This is where Chitanupasana, or the meditation of mindfulness of thoughts, comes into play. The Buddha introduced this practice as a way for individuals to become aware of what is happening in their minds without judgment. When a thought arises, whether it's a positive, negative, or neutral thought, you simply acknowledge it and observe it. For example, if a thought of anger or frustration comes up, instead of pushing it away or acting on it, you simply note, this is anger. You don't need to analyze why you're angry or try to suppress the emotion. You just acknowledge it. In doing so, the anger loses its grip on you, and over time, it will pass. This is a profound insight of Buddhist meditation. We don't need to battle with our thoughts or emotions. We just need to be aware of them, and in that awareness, they naturally begin to dissolve. Applying mindfulness in everyday life. This practice of mindfulness is not limited to formal meditation sessions. In fact, it can be applied throughout our daily lives. Whenever you find yourself caught up in thoughts, whether you're studying, working, or even just relaxing, pause for a moment and observe what's happening in your mind. Notice the thoughts that are present without getting involved in them. For example, suppose you're trying to study for an exam, but you're constantly distracted by thoughts of other things you need to do. Instead of getting frustrated or trying to force yourself to concentrate, take a step back and observe those distracting thoughts. Recognize that your mind is busy. Acknowledge the thoughts that are pulling your attention away, and then gently return your focus to your studies. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to stay present and focused. In the same way, when emotions like anxiety, stress, or sadness arise, mindfulness can help you manage them. Let's say you're feeling anxious about an upcoming meeting or presentation. Rather than getting caught up in the anxiety, observe it. Notice the sensations in your body, the tightening in your chest, the quickening of your breath. Acknowledge the anxious thoughts in your mind without getting swept away by them. As you do this, you'll find that the anxiety gradually subsides. The power of awareness. The real power of this practice lies in awareness. As the video explains, most of the time, we're not aware of what's happening in our minds. We're so caught up in our thoughts and emotions that we don't even realize they're controlling us. But when we bring awareness to these thoughts and emotions, we regain control. For instance, imagine you're stuck in traffic and someone cuts you off, causing you to feel a surge of anger. In that moment, your instinct might be to react. Maybe you want to honk your horn or curse the other driver. But if you can pause and bring awareness to the anger, you can choose a different response. You might acknowledge, "I'm feeling angry because that person cut me off," and then decide not to act on that anger. In doing so, you prevent the situation from escalating and maintain your peace of mind. This is one of the most valuable lessons from Buddhist meditation. You have the power to choose how you respond to your thoughts and emotions. By practicing mindfulness, you can break free from the automatic reactions that often lead to suffering and cultivate a sense of inner peace and calm. The video provides an example of how mindfulness can be used to manage desires. Let's say a lustful thought enters your mind. Instead of indulging in the thought or trying to suppress it, you simply observe it. You recognize it for what it is, a desire that has arisen in your mind. By being mindful of the desire, you gain control over it, and it begins to fade away. This doesn't mean that you should deny or suppress your desires. It's natural to have desires. The key is to be mindful of them and not let them control you. When you're aware of your desires, you can make conscious choices about how to act on them, rather than being driven by them. Bringing mindfulness into your life. The practice of mindfulness, as taught in Buddhist meditation, is a powerful tool for clearing the mind and finding inner peace. By being aware of your thoughts and emotions, rather than trying to suppress or control them, you can cultivate a sense of calm and clarity. To incorporate this practice into your life, start by setting aside a few minutes each day for meditation. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and observe the thoughts that come into your mind. Don't try to stop them, just be aware of them. Over time, you'll find that your mind becomes quieter and more peaceful. In addition to formal meditation, try to bring mindfulness into your daily activities. Whether you're working, studying, or simply relaxing, take a few moments to observe your thoughts. When you notice that your mind is busy or distracted, gently bring your attention back to the present moment. The more you practice mindfulness, the more you'll find that you're able to stay calm and centered, even in the midst of life's challenges. This is the true power of Buddhist meditation. It teaches us to be fully present in each moment, to observe our thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them, and to cultivate a deep sense of inner peace and clarity.